into the backcourt. Lillard keeps it himself, fires it up. Wow. It's still Dame time.
Oh, brother, what a shot.
His 15th career 30-point playoff game.
Game time didn't wait until the fourth quarter to take effect tonight. Welcome to a post-game playoff edition of Game Time Live with the Hall of Famer Isiah Thomas, NBA champion Steve Smith. I'm Jared Greenberg. The Portland Trail Blazers will live to see a Game 7 as they win it 119-108. We'll take you back out to Moda Center in a couple of moments for live post-game press conferences. We'll take you inside the locker room and break this one down as we hear from the coaches and players. Damian Lillard tonight was just sensational, guys. He had 32 points on 11 of 23 shooting. This is the Damian Lillard we've been waiting to see, and you had alluded to it in our pregame show. Getting back home, you were excited to see him operate tonight.
And you knew this was a series he wasn't going to stay in a slump for long. He hadn't been shooting the ball well, but he got back home, got in that arena, felt the cheers from the crowd, and, he just exploded, and he had some big shots, made some big shots, some tough shots. But we expect that from Lillard. And he and McCollum, the way they played tonight, I thought was big. But the biggest punch they got, was from Rodney Hood. I thought the way he came in, scored the basketball was great, and it's just a big boost for Portland.
Zeke, you're so right, and I think C.J. McCollum needs to get a lot more credit. Whenever Dame is not having a good game, or when he's having a good game, he's been that solid sidekick. Played tremendous throughout this series and in the last. Then you talked about Rodney Hood, but I also like Zach Collins, the youngster coming in. Canner hasn't scored any big points in some big minutes, Jared, for the Trailblazers.
Bench for the Blazers, 42 points tonight, just 13 points from the second unit of the Denver Nuggets, who will go back home for Game 7 on Sunday. And again, we're waiting to take you back out to Moda Center. Talk more about Lillard for a moment. You mentioned the shooting struggles. In Games 2 through 5 of this series, that 3-game stretch, he was only averaging 23 points a game on 39% shooting, and he had made 6 total three-pointers in 3 games. Tonight, he had made 7 total three-pointers in 3 games. Tonight, he makes 6 of them and really got his efficiency numbers going and really found a way to break through.
I mean, we love his confidence, and he has crazy confidence because he has great practice habits. So when guys like him, McCollum, Steph Curry, when they go through shooting slumps like we see in Curry go through a slump now, those guys have practiced so much, they rely on their practice habits.
Yep. That's
why they can have so much confidence and know at some point in time they're going to come out of it. And while everyone else may be sweating it, like Clay said earlier in the year, hey, if it's not Reggie Miller giving me some advice, or if it's not Ray Allen giving me some advice, Klay Thompson was like, I don't want to hear from nobody else. And these type of shooters like Dame, McCollum, I mean, when they go through a little shooting slump, they know how to get out of it because they have great practice habits.
And that also, Zeke, he's played in 7 games elimination games, and he's averaged 25 points.
Right. Yeah.
That shows me he likes the big games.
Oh, yeah.
And he's one of those guys, whether win or lose, he brings his hard hat. And I like the way Portland's played. I like the way Cantor's played. I like this team. They're a little bit more gritty, a little bit more tougher than they've had the teams they've had in the past.
Yeah, they can, the 2 guys you don't want to see in a Game 7 coming to your house to play. You don't want to see Steph and Clay, and you don't want to see Dame and McCollum. I mean, because those 4 guys can really light it up. And, I throw one other guy in there too, Durant. You don't want to see him coming in.
I don't want to see him in Game 1.
But when you talk about like just, a guard tandems coming into your house on a Game 7, them guys, they can shoot the basketball and they can shoot you out of your house. So Denver's got to be a little nervous about a Game 7 in their building with Dame and McCollum coming in.
Well, they have been so good on their home court, and as we talked about with the Philadelphia and Toronto series, home teams win 79% of Game 7s. Obviously, there's still 21% of road teams that have gone on to win. Do you give the Blazers any sort of edge? Is there such thing? Everybody's split on this. Is there momentum from game to game in a playoff series?
I think right now, Portland has, they got Jokic. and nobody can really match up with them. However, out on the perimeter, what Portland's bringing to the game right now in terms of Dame, CJ, and now Hood, those three guys are bona fide scorers, and Hood now has got his confidence. So, you know, it's going to be a tough game for Denver. Denver better come ready to play and play well to beat Portland.
You know, and I look on that Denver side is they have one guy that can, I would say, be a stabilizer, is Paul Millsap. If he can get going and control that pace with him playing down low. And another player, Jamal Murray's played fantastic.
Yeah.
Jokic has played fantastic. Gary Harris has to have one of those games. And I think defensively, it's a tough task. He's guarding either CJ or Dame, and that's his assignment. But we also know that he can knock down shots. I know they're wearing him down defensively, but he needs to have one of those games, the game sevens, for Denver to be able to win this, I think, as well.
And Smitty, with Hood stepping up and playing the way he's playing, where do you have Murray at?
That's the problem.
That's been the problem in this series, because Murray as a defender, you know, he hasn't been the greatest of defenders in this series. So whoever he's on, whether it be CJ, whether it be Dame, or whether it be Hood, that's who they're targeting. So, you know, Murray's going to have a great defensive effort in games.
There's a wild factor, too, for Denver, Will Barton. Will Barton could come up with a big game.
He almost got himself thrown out of this game.
Yeah, he did. But there was, you know, he's got to stand up a little bit. You got to be smart, but you also can't back down when somebody pushes you first.
Is there any sort of added advantage that Denver could come into Game 7 with, being that they got to this round by winning a Game 7 against the Spurs?
Yeah, I think experience always helps. And then obviously throughout the season, you play the games to have this game on your court. You'd rather have it on your court than away.
Right.
And they do have one guy, and we see Will Barton and Seth Curry. And, you know, I thought Seth kind of instigated that one. You know, Will Barton was making sure that he let him know that I'm not really having it.
You thought Seth instigated that one?
Yes.
Wow, I thought Seth was going to pick up his guy.
Yeah, but
no, Seth came over and
pushed Will Barton
to pick up his guy.
Yes. Already, if you look at Will Barton, he's saying
it was a bit of a pillow fight push.
Yeah, but no matter what,
don't push me.
The circumstance is Will Barton is probably afraid. He almost into his knee, could have had an injury, and then you can't come over and push me as well.
And I don't think Will Barton was mad at the guy who fell on his knee.
Right.
I thought he was just trying to, you know, protect himself.
Brace himself, yeah.
And I thought Seth came over and gave him a push. See,
and nothing wrong with the little push by Barton back, but then now Seth, you can't walk up and close that gap now.
Right.
Yeah, now you can't.
Now you can't close that gap. If you close that gap,
he pushed you, you pushed him.
That's
everybody's good. But when you
close the gap with force and a little quicker, you got to make sure you stay out of the distance.
Yeah, when you walk into range.
I call that Tommy Hearns distance.
Yeah, when you walk into
Tommy
range.
Tommy has some long jabs.
Yes. You can't walk into swinging range.
Yeah, you got to keep your distance.
Yeah.
With the 2 days off, we talked about it. Yeah, you stay over there. Don't lean in, please. Got to protect this, you know what I mean? We talked about this with the Philadelphia and Toronto series. Obviously, you know, both these series now you get the added extra day off. Does that benefit any particular team in this series here, guys?
You know, I don't think so. I think rest-wise, both these teams have played in these over.